The spotlight body will now automatically follow the target movements. How many times have you placed a spotlight and then wasted time adjusting the lamp that contains it? Not to mention where there are 5, 6 or more spotlights.
No!
Now let's see how to control the movement of both the lamp and the light using a strategic pivot alignment. In this first of 3 scenarios, we'll see the simplest possible situation, where the light direction and the spotlight pivot are on the same axis. Now let's delete all the spotlights and perform these operations on just one spotlight, which we'll then duplicate. In this case, the pivot's orientation in space doesn't matter. The key point is that it must be placed at the physical rotation point. Let's enable vertex snapping and from the pivot section, place it exactly in this spot. Now the spotlight rotates around its actual pivot. Next, we select Auto Grid and create a light at the position of the light source. I recommend checking the light direction immediately by increasing the gizmo size. If, as in this case, it's pointing in the opposite direction, I advise not to rotate the light. I won't go into details now, but just know that this can cause an issue in the final adjustment. So activate the target and move it to the opposite side, causing the light to rotate accordingly. The light will end up rotated, but as a result of repositioning the target. Now, still in the pivot section, let's place the light's pivot in the same position as the spotlight's pivot. Select the light and activate Affect Pivot Only. Then click on the Align tool and center all axes on pivot point. Finally, let's link the spotlight to the light. To do this, activate this button, then click on the spotlight and drag it onto the light. Release the mouse button when you see the symbol turn into a white square. And that's it. Moving the spotlight doesn't work, but by adjusting the target, the light will move correctly, rotating the spotlight as well. But what if the spotlight pivot is not aligned with the light direction like in the previous example? Let's repeat the same process with a slight variation. First, we place the spotlight pivot as its natural rotation center. I know I'm doing this quite approximately, but you'll see that it will work anyway. Be careful. If this model comes from a library and has a light already, it's very likely that it has been rotated and may give an error. So let's do a manual correction. In a local mode, rotate it by 180 degrees, activate the target, and rotate it again, this time by moving the target. Now align the targets, but in this case the pivots are not on the same axis. So let's move down the light's pivot until it intersects the light's direction. And finally create the link. Let's complete it with Spotlight Master level. But before we move on, if you wanna learn or improve in photorealism, there's my official Corona course with photographic approach, certifications, studio licenses, Spotlight Master level. For this, I've chosen a lamp where all the pivots converge at the same light source. This situation simplified the process. So in this case, it's enough to link the lamp to the light directly, and in this case the up-down rotation will work immediately. However, when rotating sideways, the connection with the fork is lost. So let's link the fork to the lamp just like before. Now all parts move together, but in reality the fork rotates in only one direction, along the z-axis. So let's go to the forks pivot, info link, and in the rotation section prevent it from inheriting rotations along the x and the y, keeping only rotation along the z active. This way, the movements of this lamp will be completely natural.